Yo, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Dre here, and I'm here to do my review on Top Gun Maverick. So, I actually saw Top Gun, I think it was Monday, Memorial Day, and then I waited a little bit, took my sister to go see it this past weekend. Tried to get Javante on this review, but he hasn't seen the movie. I guess he said he's just going to wait till it comes out on Paramount Plus, which is fine. You know, he's not the biggest Top Gun fan, so I understand. So, here, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and takeaways from the film, and then lastly, my grade for it. So Top Gun, considering that it took place, the original came out in 1986, so this is about 36 years. And when we look back at legacy sequels, sequels that take place several years after the original, and it includes some cast members actually as well. I think about Tron and Blade Runner 2049. And I think, Top Gun Maverick is definitely one of the... I think it's the best one. I'm not going to say it's one of the best. It is the best legacy sequel, in my opinion. I feel like it's even better than the original, which is a lot to say. I actually really like the original. But the funny thing, I actually never saw Top Gun until about 5 years ago, so I wasn't really on it from the start. Sorry about that, allergies acting up. So, yeah, I didn't see the first one until about 5 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. Thought it was a good movie, especially for it to come out in 1986. I didn't feel that way when I watched it. And watching this film, it astonished me and amazed me. I definitely think it hit up a lot on nostalgia. There were a lot of scenes that, even when I think about the first 5 minutes of the film, it's literally shot copy and paste from the original. There was a lot of throwback scenes, flashbacks that really touched up, like emotionally, like had a lot of touchy-feely moments as you're watching. Obviously, when you saw the trailer and you saw the cast, you saw that Miles Teller was set to play Goose's son, Rooster Bradshaw. And, Miles Teller, when I think about Miles Teller, I only think there's one role for him in Hollywood, and that's to play like this hot shot, dick type of guy. And I'm not going to say he was that in this movie, which is weird. I think definitely having that backstory, losing his father, and trying to prove himself, I think it helped him, stand out. And it also helped the fact that there was an even bigger dick in this movie with Glenn Powell playing Hangman. I think that was something that kind of helped Miles Teller, differentiate from his usual roles. But otherwise, I think the cast did a really great job all around. Lots of chemistry between the actors and actresses on set. They didn't touch up on most of the supporting characters as much as they focused on Rooster. Maybe Hangman, they gave him a little bit more spotlight compared to the rest. But it felt right. I feel like if they would have involved all these other side characters, it just would have been too much for this movie, especially when you still have Maverick in a starring role as well. But still, all around, I think they did a great job. Now, let me go to the star of this film. Now, the star of this film is Tom Cruise as Pete Maverick Mitchell. And, Tom Cruise, I gotta give props to Tom Cruise. He's, 59 years old. The guy knows how to age. He's ripped still. Maybe I might need to get into that Scientology shit because, hey, Tom Cruise over here doing his own stunts and still looking like this. That's crazy. But props to him. I'm actually glad that they made him like the main character. Like he didn't take a backseat, like some usual sequels do. They kind of focus on the younger cast, and then they kind of push the older cast far away, put them in like this kind of mentor role and as a side role. Whereas in this film, Maverick still has a lot for his character to go through. They mentioned in the beginning how he's very accomplished, but like he never became like a captain or rose through the ranks. He was always like, he just liked his normal spot because he always liked to fly. But it obviously was a nice step seeing his character grow from that hotshot, thinks he can do it all type of person that he was in the original Top Gun movie, and see him take more of that lead role, trying to teach, inspire these young cadets. Because there's a moment in the movie where he's talking with some admirals, and he's like, these guys have been told they're the best their whole lives. And I thought, it's something that he can relate to, being in their situation. So he obviously, I think this was a nice step for his character to take, and I like how he was written in this film. Now, the relationship between Maverick and Jennifer Connelly's character, Jennifer Connelly, she's aging like fine wine. Like, she's fine as fuck. I'll still say it to this day. She a baddie. I'm not gonna be like Javante and be all lighthearted and be like, she's a very beautiful woman. She's fine as fuck. I'm gonna put that out there. Paul Bettany, lucky man. It's actually kind of a toss-up between which romance I prefer in this one or the last one. I didn't really... Obviously, when I watched the movie, it wasn't really for the romance. It was obviously for the planes and the flying, which I will get to that. Now, the flying. The flying was amazing in this film. I actually felt like I was really in the cockpit flying with these guys. And it's cool to find out that a lot of the actors were trained to fly F-18s on set as well, which I think... like, pretty much all the shots in the film were them actually, was the cast actually flying. I believe so. I need to look more into that. But if they did, that's awesome. Either way, the way it was shot, it felt very real, very realistic. The tossing, the turning. I felt like I was kind of like on the edge of my seat, in for a thrill ride. So props to the movie on that. I will say Top Gun is definitely a movie you have to watch it at least for the first time in theaters, so you get the full surround sound with the audios, the jet engines, and everything. And this movie, to add on to the emotional moments that this movie had, I gotta talk about Val Kilmer as well. Bringing him back as Iceman. Obviously, we all know about Val Kilmer's situation going on in real life with him having throat cancer and losing his voice. So him being back in this movie, I didn't know how they were going to do it. And to see, minor spoiler, but to see them involve what Val is going through in real life and bringing that into the movie, I thought it just brought so much more emotion. And props to Val Kilmer for letting them do that. Letting them involve like something that's been really difficult in his life right now. And it's crazy because I actually thought when I first watched the movie that the voice, because there was a brief segment where he did talk, like maybe a short sentence or two, I thought that was him actually speaking. And it turns out, because I think he did actually like lose his voice completely. I wasn't really sure on that, whether he lost it completely or maybe he just lost majority of the ability to speak. Like he speaks in rare instances. Like for this movie, that's what I thought. Like I would have been like, damn, okay, that tells you like how good this movie was, how good the script was to make Val Kilmer say, you know what, I know it's painful, but I'll speak for this role. But it turns out they actually used AI, artificial intelligence for his voice, which it sounded really good, for to match with Val Kilmer's. I think it was his son. Maybe they might have used his son's, kind of like how the documentary. Not really sure, or maybe old voice clips as well that they mashed together. I mean, technology these days. They did the same thing with James Earl Jones as Darth Vader in instances as well. But either way, I think it really brought something emotionally to the film with his character. And just emotional throughout, as far as the backstory, Goose and Maverick, their relationship, especially with, Maverick's relationship to, or not, Rooster and Maverick's relationship in this film compared to Goose and Maverick's relationship in the last film, and how that carried over. All in all, I think Top Gun Maverick was spectacular. I give it an A+. I think it's a film that will probably be in my top 10, maybe even top 5 movies of 2022 when it's all said and done. I really enjoyed it. It's a movie that I can rewatch several times and still enjoy it. Just you know, the flying, it just makes it so amazing. Just, you actually feel like you're flying with them. And I thought that was something that was different compared to the first one. All right, what did you guys think of Top Gun Maverick? Be sure to let me know down below in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this review, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I'm DeAndre, and this is Dre and Jay. Deuces.